Hey everyone, Rogue Gold here, and today we are taking a look at EXOBORNE. The game is currently running a closed beta with no NDA, so everything you see in this video is my own footage and gameplay. One note that I just wanted to add at the top here before we really get into this: my PC is not built to run games like this, so all of my settings are set to pretty much the lowest they can go, so don't expect this video to really show off the graphical potential of the game. Also, controller support is not enabled within this test, and that is my preferred input, so if you see some subpar mouse and keyboard gameplay in here, sorry in advance. Now, if you've been around my channel before, you'll know that I primarily focus on the Division franchise. However, my interest in EXOBORNE comes from the fact that it was made, and the development studio that made it, Sharkmob, was founded by some of the original top developers who conceptualized the Division IP and worked on the Division 1 from its early days. I actually had the opportunity to chat with some of those people, including EXOBORNE's creative director Peter Mannerfelt a few days before the game's reveal back at the Game Awards in 2023, and since then I've had the chance to playtest the game quite a few times. And from then until this test now, I've definitely seen some really great improvements and refinements made along the way. That all culminates in this latest closed beta test. As I mentioned earlier, there's no NDA on it, and it is by far the most polished and well-rounded representation of EXOBORNE that I've seen yet. So, now that I can use my own footage and freely share my experience and thoughts, I kinda just wanted to jump on today and dive into it all. So if this is the first time that you're hearing about EXOBORNE, it is an upcoming PvEVP extraction shooter. Unlike some of its competitors, it's actually not going to be free to play. I believe they are targeting a $40 USD price point. I'm hoping that allows them to deter a certain number of cheaters, as well as hopefully tone down some of the monetization levels we see in games like this that are free to play. But the game is going to be fully next gen, releasing on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. And while they have not fully committed to a release date yet, it should be releasing sometime later in 2025. So from all of my time playing EXOBORNE, some of the things that stick out the most to me about this game are the movement, mobility, and verticality of it, the skill ceiling that I think exists in the gunfights in PvP, and the very addictive gameplay loop that they've created. Now look, EXOBORNE is not an incredibly different pitch than other extraction shooters, right? You make a loadout, go in, fight PvE enemies, sometimes you'll encounter other players, and among all of those threats, you are trying to extract with the loot you've earned. Otherwise, if you die, you'll lose everything you have. But there are some areas that do make it seem truly unique, and one of those, and this is something that the developers seemed really passionate about when I spoke to them, is that EXOBORNE has really invested big into weather tech. Now, I don't just mean weather that looks visually different as you go around and play the game, but weather that has a major impact on your moment-to-moment gameplay. Wind is a huge component there. It plays a major role in your traversal in this game. Players have access to this paraglider ability that's kind of like the main mode of transport, and so sometimes you might come to the bottom of a big cliff face and be like, how am I going to climb that? Well, at certain times, the wind will create an updraft where you can just pull that glider out and you will basically be lifted to the top of it. Additionally, while of course height plays a big role in how far you can go with that glider, if there is a wind current that is going in the direction you're trying to go, sometimes if you aim yourself right, you can go huge distances of the map with a single jump. And I think that's quite cool. There are also naturally occurring weather events like tornadoes. Those will of course play a huge role of the wind in the area. Sometimes you can use the momentum from those to slingshot to other areas, but sometimes those tornadoes can turn into firestorms, which become pretty lethal hazards. There's also stuff like electrical pockets that can pop up, which will jam your systems and abilities. In this test, I ran into toxic clouds that can form and create like damage over time zones. Across the board, the weather in this game is just an extra layer that I think a lot of other games don't have. But the best part is that unlike some battle royales and extraction royales that will have, the ring that pushes you closer to the center of the maps in EXOBORNE are huge. In these weather events, you can just choose to run away from them if you want. I think that creates a really good flow. The size of the maps is really good for exploration. It's pretty fun just to run around and see what's out there. It also allows for those PvP encounters that you will have to be spread out enough so that things aren't too hectic. The game does have proximity chat, and combined with these large maps, that really did remind me of the original Division 1 Dark Zone, which again, these developers who are leading the production of this game, they helped create that all the way back in the day. So really, there's just a lot of fun to be had here in EXOBORNE. There's a lot of freedom in what you can pursue. There's multiple objective types on the map and limited time events. I'm also a big fan of the depth of customization in this game. Now, of course, it's not quite to the level of making a build like in The Division or Destiny, but your loadout can have quite a lot of variation to it. Weapons at higher rarities will come with talents and perks. You can mod those weapons. You can also mod your suit or exo rig itself. equip it with different abilities and upgrades. There's just a lot here. Now look, I'm realizing that I'm going through a lot of this stuff fast. This is a very high look at the game overall. If you all enjoyed this and you do want to see more on EXOBORNE, I'll certainly do more videos in the future. But yeah, really I've just been enjoying playing this closed beta. It is almost over. I believe it ends tomorrow, but especially because this is the first time that there is not an NDA on one of these, I really just wanted to show off some fun gameplay. So I'm going to let some of this continue running uninterrupted so that you can really see what's going on here. That said, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the game, whether you have played EXOBORNE before or this is the first time that you're seeing it. Let me know some of your first impressions. And additionally, if you have any questions about the game, I will do my very best to get those answers for you. That's going to do it for me today though, folks. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.